So these are my 10 takeaways for beginners trying to do a successful YouTube channel. So the first thing that I noticed was he was very disciplined from the very beginning at setting himself up for doing a schedule for when he's gonna make it and when he's gonna upload it and edit and stuff like that. So he said it was every Wednesday, and that was something that I've noticed a lot of influencers doing so far. It's a pattern of um, getting yourself disciplined into a set schedule, which seems to be the most successful way to see growth. The second thing I found was that anything that you do first of will always be the worst. And so he obviously used the example of his first YouTube videos were just horrible, and it makes sense, it's just there's no point in trying to strive for that perfection, which is something I know I do struggle with, but it's too much to the point where I never get to finish or start something because there's that like unreachable perfection and stuff. So it's something that I'm definitely working on, and I'm already trying to combat by starting something out that I never thought I would, which is doing murals and stuff. The third one would be the amount volume equals experience. So that is pretty self-explanatory, but it's just a really nice reminder for me as a takeaway to know that, maybe it's not the best work, but it's like the more you're practicing, the more you're doing stuff, the more experience you're getting, you're learning each time differently or in a more strategical way for the next time, which is always important and to keep in mind because it is frustrating when you're not always putting out really good work. The next one would be the sooner you practice on camera, the better. And I definitely agree with this. It's not something that's going to be my thing to do, is working on camera in front of it and stuff. But I know that sort of confidence that people have being able to do something like that, it reflects on them being able to do that sorts of stuff in general, like speaking in conferences or something like that, or giving presentations, being able to be the first one to network in like very prestigious places or something like that. So those are sort of like the key things to know that will help you out in other ways in your life that people don't realize. Like, trying to avoid that also shows that they probably are avoiding those other things and lacking in the confidence to be able to do it, which I have slowly tried to get to and definitely should be working on doing. And then don't use expensive gear as an excuse to push things aside. This is something I've learned in a hard way. In the past, I have gone to the lengths of making sure I get the best of what I need for whatever the project is for, but it might end up not being something I'm actually super passionate about, or thought it would be something differently. And that's super important because, if it's something that you really care about, you just want to make sure that you're giving out the content and you're going to make it happen no matter what you have on hand. So it's something that I'm kind of working on and reminding myself, because there's so many things like I already got my own studio space now, and so it's very tempting to want to get all these sorts of equipment, but it's something that people slowly grow on for a reason, because they don't know what the future lies with their work. Another thing would be understanding search engines. That is so important and so vital that I've learned so far in this class, is understanding how those things work is going to help you no matter what social media platform you decide to work on. they're they're obviously more relevant to things like YouTube, as the guy, kind of mentioned in his experience. But I mean, I've used Instagram, for instance, just as an example, as a search engine to look up maybe like a tattoo artist or a new hair place that's local to um, Chicago, and all those sorts of stuff. So obviously, I I can't be the only person, and there's obviously the reason why hashtags are still relevant, because people are using these kinds of things as a search engine besides Google and stuff like that. So to understand how the algorithm works and how you can really monetize from that is something that I'm like really interested in learning more about, because that will always hold true to doing the best that you can do. Um, the next one would be topic-based content, which I've already read a lot about in this class. It's about niche or niche. I don't know which way is the correct term to pronounce it, but I mean, yeah, it makes sense like to find the topic that really makes sense to you, that you're actually really interested in, and then making sure you keep making content within that realm. Um, but it is something, yeah, that I'm gonna have to like really think about, because I'm not really into that, but I am obviously being proven and proven. Uh, it's been proven all the time that that's the way to go. That's the only way that you'll really, really see a lot of success in and stuff. So, gotta do that. And then the last three. So, the first, last one, third to last is brand deals matter more than monetization. That is what the note I wrote, because yeah, it's impossible, like as the guy was saying, to strive for the most viewed or the most liked or the most engagement in your post to expect that to be monetized and something of value. Like, it's just obviously something that anybody would want. So that's why it's the most difficult to get. And so to obsess over that as your only way of income, or to, keep your influencerness to keep going is not ideal, and will easily burn someone out. So something like brands deals or some type of ambassador or partnership or something like that makes a lot of sense, because it's something that has value besides getting paid for it. You're making a connection within the field that you're interested in, and that you are obviously making an awareness of who you are and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, it's more than just a paycheck. It's maybe a foot in the door of working with other companies or something like that. So it has a lot more value in my eyes than actual money from monetization. The second to last was courage. I like that he wrote this. It's so obvious. Obviously, you need to have courage in order to do all these sorts of things, but it's something that people don't really consider when they're looking at it from the user side. So, like, I, for one, can now understand how difficult it is to, you know, uh, publicly put your stuff out there, and hoping for a good interactions with your followers and stuff like that. But I mean, that's just what it's like. That's, you can't expect to do it any other way. Um, so it's just have the courage to be able to get the rejection or the not a backlash, but like, mm, not to expect something so much out of something like that. It takes time, and it takes courage, patience, blah blah blah, so forth. The last thing would be on learning from others' mistakes. Of course, there's going to be mistakes that you learn by yourself. They are inevitable, but like how the guy was saying about the book, it's true. I mean, that's how I read a lot about that, and listen to podcasts about graphic designers and stuff like that, and especially about freelancing, and some mistakes that are completely avoidable and that will ultimately save you a lot of time and a lot of energy, by listening to them and seeking that kind of information. That kind of wisdom is really valuable for someone starting out, and it's better to start with and to continue with open ears, and not be a know-it-all, because that'll really help a lot. And I've learned a lot already from a lot of these podcasts, so that's something that I hope to continue and took away from the video. So thank you.